So what's going on, guys? It's Captain America. Hope you guys are well, and thank you so much for coming onto this channel. So as always, starting off with the match stats. So for this game we did win 4-0. It was a great performance from the boys, especially as we had 71% possession with 14 shots in total versus 4 from the opposition. Of course, it's going to be a bit tough to get the same team equivalent that we're playing with because it was quite late night, but I just really enjoyed the goal contribution as well as the team play for this match that we had. For myself, I was playing as a central attacking midfielder. I did have an 8.7 match rating. I did score 1 goal as well as 1 assist, and then 83% passing accuracy, 88% dribbling, and then 2 tackles made at 50%. But in general, a very good performance from my side. I do feel that the man of the match should have been X, who had 3 assists. The last assist that he did to Imigor was absolutely nasty, a great lobbed and lofted ball across. But yeah, what I'll do is I'll run through the how the match went in terms of the goals, and do enjoy the gameplay. And it was at one moment around the 33 minute I did a skill move in terms of a cross, and it went over to X and then X over to Imigor, and it was so close for it to be a goal. That would have been a really good team goal as well as a skillful goal as well, so do check that out at 33 minutes during this game. But yeah, so the first goal, how it went was, it was myself in the box. I did pass it across to Imigor. It was a good cut-in ball towards the goal, and then for Imigor to score. And then the second goal was X crossed it over to myself, and then I did score that with my left foot, my weaker foot, you know. So that was a great little volley for myself. And then the third one was Imigor to X, and then so it was a free kick. So you need to imagine it was a free kick. It was a good little set piece routine that we have. We passed it across from the free kick taker to X, who's just in front of the wall, and then X did cross it in over to Jenks, who converted it, and he's a centre back, so it was a great little volley in. And then, as mentioned, you know, the fourth goal was really good. Do check that out. It was a great lobbed and lofted ball across from X to Imigor, and then Imigor to convert and literally close off the game. As mentioned, it was 4-0, great dominating performance from the boys, and we really controlled the ball. I think that was something that was really important for us. When we don't have, let's say, too many human players that we're playing against in the opposition, we tend to try like controlling the ball as much as we can just to like get used to it. Of course, it's always going to be different against human players, but we do prefer, you know, as many human players as possible. But yeah, guys, do enjoy the match while we talk about today's topic, which is going to be around, you know, Scott Parker. He was sacked by Bournemouth, as well as some of the fixtures and my predictions for those games for today as well as tomorrow. And just, yeah, as mentioned, predictions and my analysis, and do let me know your thoughts around, you know, what we're going to be discussing today. It'll be really good for you guys to, yeah, let me know if you've got any opinions, advice, or any questions that you have. I'm more than happy to answer them. But yeah, with Scott Parker, I think that was very surprising, you know. Yes, he did lose 9-0 just off the back of his game against Liverpool. Firstly, Liverpool at home, okay? That's what we need to understand. Nice. And the ball, they're being overreactive, and this is what I don't like about these type of newly promoted clubs, or clubs that are newly promoted but then just survive the Premier League. But the expectation of these owners is just absolutely ridiculous. Like, you need to understand, Bournemouth had a very tough start to the Premier League. Yes, they did get promoted. Their first game, it was against Aston Villa. They won 2-0. But then back-to-back, you got Man City where they lost 4-0. Then they next had Arsenal where they lost 3-0. And then, of course, they got Liverpool next after that, and that was 9-0. These three are like, let's say, in my opinion, the top 3 position in the standings of the league. They had a good result against Aston Villa. You don't expect them to win against Man City, man. Or you know, who else is it? Bournemouth as well as Liverpool. Like, yes, it was completely difficult for them to play. And to be truthfully honest with you, and when you do look at their current, of course, bearing in mind the fixtures that they've had, where they are over the past 4 games, you know, they haven't had that many shots on target, you know, possessions as well, as well as goals conceded. They've been ranked 20th in total, and that's the lowest that you could be. But again, they're not in the relegation battle as yet. Not battle, but they aren't in the relegation position as yet, but they will be in the battle for it. I think they will unfortunately get relegated. I do hate when these owners or teams just don't give the chance or the opportunity to these managers, man. Like, it's just really stupid. Like, you think about like the 3 tough games that they've had, and now the games that they're going to have afterwards are going to be like Nottingham Forest, Brighton, Newcastle, Brentford, Leicester, Fulham, and West Ham. And truthfully honest with you, I think they'll get at least 6 points max from these clubs. Sorry, not 6 points. 6 points from like the wins, so 2 wins. and there may be a draw out of one of those ones. But again, some of these clubs are quite difficult, man. Brighton is doing really well this season. You've also got Newcastle on another level. You've got Brentford that done very well against United, but have been so for now. Leicester, again, you just don't know, man. These guys are like not performing at all, like completely. But again, they've been hampered by injuries that we know of, and they're slowly returning into the club now. But again, it's going to be a case, can they retain their key players? Yes, Vardy did sign his contract, but you got Tielemans that's been rumoured for the likes of Arsenal as well as other teams over this summer, and he is a key asset to the team. And then Fulham as well. Yes, they've had a fantastic start, but Fulham always do a Fulham, man. They always go back into the relegation side of things. You know, Mitrovic has been, great. It's good to see him, scoring within the Premier League, but can he sustain it? That's going to be the other question. Can he keep it consistent in which he could, keep it going for himself? Because he's always been a goal-scoring legend within the Championship League, but when it comes to the Premier League, he's like a poor man's Lukaku or something, man. And of course you got West Ham. So yes, the couple of fixtures that Bournemouth do have aren't really the top 6 as such. They're more like, I don't know, 6 till like 10th position. I think some of these guys are going to be contending. But of course, you got the likes of other clubs that may, pip them. You just never know. Newcastle are doing fantastic at the moment as well. I do see them getting into Europa. Nottingham Forest have just signed like a full 11, man. But it's a case where can they get these individuals integrated within the play style of the club and within the chemistry of the club as well. There's so much to it. Yes, you've signed so many players. They've actually signed like one of the most amount of players that I saw. I think it was they had like a net spend of not net spend, but let's say total spend of 147 million with 17 signings. Okay, so they're the second most top spender within the Premier League. Number 1 is Chelsea with 7 players that they've purchased at 193 million. So think about like the ratio, okay? So you got 7 players that Chelsea signed at 193 mil. You got Nottingham Forest signing 17 players, okay, for 147 million. So they've gone for like maybe not even the bargain buys, but they've actually purchased some very good players, man. Even like loaned in some really good players. So they've strategically done some really good signings. And then you got Manchester United, that's third, okay, top spender like in general. 4 players at 141 million. Like, they've literally had their pants pulled down, man. I've said it all along, and I'll say it. Like, literally, they've spent roughly around 35 mil for each of those players. But again, the value of some of those players is absolutely ridiculous, man. Like, now you got Anthony coming in. It's just going to be ridiculous, man. United, they love to be high spenders in general, but then when it comes to performance, they just can't get the individual performances out, man. But no, I think with Scott Parker, it's just unfortunate that he's been sacked so early on. I think it's just really... I think it's disappointing because, of course, the fixtures that he's had, plus, like, understanding how the Premier League is again, with the competition being on such a high level, it's always going to be tough for a newly promoted club. And I think the expectations from the owners just need to, hamper down a bit as well. They haven't really done much in terms of, the summer signings. Like, yes, they have signed individuals, but it hasn't been like, Nottingham Forest style. It's one of those ones where they've got Joe Rothwell, who's come from Blackburn for free. They've got Ryan Fredericks, West Ham for free. Then they got Tavernier for 12.5 mil from Middlesbrough. Again, like, coming from Middlesbrough, which isn't like a consistently like a high performing team. I think they need to start looking at more like Premier League type of players, or even like maybe in the French league, for example, looking for those key players in those Division 1s. And I think the Championship Middlesbrough, these players may find it hard to integrate into the Premier League. And then of course, you've got Senesi as well, 13.5 mil. So I think that was one of the best signings that they made this summer, man. Like, Marcos Senesi from Feyenoord is a very good player, man. So let's see, man. I think it's just disappointing. I do see maybe Sean Dyche taking over, Bournemouth. I think that'll be a really interesting project. I think Eddie Howe, what he done with them was fantastic, but since then they crumbled. But then Scott Parker did absolutely amazing with them, like absolutely amazing, and he's given no chance from the owners. And his stats, if you look at it overall for Bournemouth, he's had 55 games, 28 games won, 14 drawn, 13 lost, and a win rate of around 51%. So it's not too bad, man. But again, the faith from the owners just shows, man. They're just too, I don't know. They're like a Chelsea turnover and all this. This is something that doesn't work as a business model. This will literally get you relegated, man, with the inconsistencies and whatnot. So I don't know, man. But yeah, let's see what happens with Bournemouth. But again, with today's fixtures, as well as tomorrow, we're going to just be going through my predictions. I'll do the scores right away, and then we'll go through like my thoughts and my predictions around that. So what I've done is for Fulham versus Brighton today, I've said it's going to be 3-1 to Brighton. Crystal Palace versus Brentford, 2-1 to Crystal Palace. Southampton versus Chelsea, it will be 1-1. That's what I've predicted. Leeds versus Everton, 2-0 to Leeds. Arsenal versus Aston Villa, 3-1 to Arsenal. Man City versus Nottingham Forest, 3-0 to Man City. Bournemouth versus Wolves, 2-0 to Wolves. West Ham versus Tottenham, it will be 1-1. Liverpool versus Newcastle, 3-1. And then Leicester City versus United. I think United will just scrape it again, 1-0, man. Like, they love scraping, like, results. They're not consistent. Like, I can't wait for them to drop in form. I really can't. But no, I think with that's going to be a further fixture. But with like Fulham versus Brighton, as mentioned, you know, Fulham, can they keep the consistency? I think that's going to be key, not just for the team, but for the key striker Mitrovic. As mentioned, he's a prime Messi in the Championship, but can he sustain that in the Premier League? Yes, he started fantastically. But I think it's going to be a case now if he could keep that level-headed. And I've always seen him at a club like Manchester United, man. I just don't understand why he doesn't move into these bigger clubs. He's still a fairly young player from what I was reading as well. Then, of course, you got Brighton, the team, the underdogs, let's say, that I feel will be doing very well this season, man. I do see them going for like the Europa type of position. I think, you know, Graham Potter's, I've bigged him up so many times, man. This guy is one of the best managers, English managers, that you'll come across to this day, man. Like currently in this current moment in time. Like there's no English manager currently that's in the same competition as him. Like, yes, like you got these individual like players doing well for him, but of course he's lost a lot of key of his players. You know, you've got the Cucurella that's moved across to Chelsea. You've got, Basuma that's moved over to Tottenham. But again, what he's done with the club at the moment has been fantastic in terms of grinding out the results. So again, a manager to look out for the international scene. And yeah, I've been saying it for a while, man. Such a good coach. And then Crystal Palace versus Brentford, as mentioned, 2-1. I think Crystal Palace are just very strong at home. Vieira has done very well for them in general as a coach. What he's done in general as a philosophy that he's integrated with the club has been fantastic. Getting goals against Liverpool, as well as a good performance against Man City. Initially, you know, they did score 2 goals against Man City, but then Man City did come back. You know, Haaland scoring his hat-trick within the club. You know, good achievement for him. And of course, there's going to be more to come from him. He's a good poacher. So I think, yes, so that's going to be 2-1 to Crystal Palace. I think Brentford have just been a bit slow now. I think it's something that they just need to rejuvenate themselves. But I think heading over to Crystal Palace is going to be a very tough game, man. And then you got Southampton versus Chelsea. I see this being 1-1. I just don't know, man. Southampton did dominate United quite a lot during the game, but unlucky to lose out 1-0. But again, Chelsea, they haven't done much in terms of buying that out-for-out striker that they're looking for. Yes, they're going for Gordon for 60 mil, 70 mil, whatever. But they're letting Hudson-Odoi go. I just don't understand what Chelsea's doing, but I do see this being 1-1. Leeds versus Everton today. I do see this being Leeds winning 2-0. Everton, I just hope that they get relegated, being a Liverpool fan. But Leeds, yes, they've got some really good, fantastic individual players. And this is something that Marsh has done very well with, you know, bringing that Red Bull philosophy in. And, you know, integrating some of the Red Bull players within the Leeds side. And, you know, I'm really looking forward to what Leeds could achieve this year. And then Arsenal versus Aston Villa tomorrow, 3-1, easy win for Arsenal. Aston Villa's been out of form, and there's a lot of questions now for Stevie G as well. If he will stay on, I think it's one of those ones now he's being predicted to be the next manager to be sacked. But hopefully he does turn it around. You know, Stevie G done a fantastic job at Rangers, but again, the competition of the clubs and the level of play is just so much different from the Scottish League, as we all know, the Farmers League, compared to the Premier League. Man City versus Nottingham Forest, I think it's going to be 3-0. Strong performance from Man City. I just don't see them slipping up as they did against Crystal Palace. I do see a very strong performance from them. Yes, Nottingham Forest have purchased quite a lot of players, but again, it'll be completely different. And then the other 3, I just don't have time. I've just looked at the time. I'm just a bit off now. But yeah, we'll catch up tomorrow, guys. I might do a cam build. But do check my other videos out, and I do appreciate the love as always. Thank you, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.
Well done, boys.